Hi, everybody. Jim Graham here with Billy Brandt here for Beyond the Cage. On the line, we have a special guest joining us. She will be fighting on the main card of UFC 192 against Jessica Ai. She is the Venezuela vixen, Julianna Pena. And Julianna, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Jimbo.
All right, first thing I want to ask is, do you feel there's any pressure on you coming into this fight against the opponent the caliber of Jessica Ai?
I feel like the pressure is the same as every fight. I'm going in there fighting on the biggest stage in the world for everybody to see. So, I'm getting in a fist fight, and that's as real as it gets. I don't think it gets any realer. So, yeah, I feel the same amount of pressure. It's a scary situation, but one that I have prepared for diligently and one that I am absolutely prepared and ready for.
Now, do you feel excited? This is the first time you've been featured on a pay-per-view main card. Do you feel like that's a big honor to have for you in your career so far?
It sure is an honor, Jim, but at the same time, I'd fight this chick in a phone booth. I'd fight her in the club. It doesn't matter if I'm fighting her on pay-per-view. I'd fight this girl any day of the week, so it don't matter to me where we fight.
Now, of course, this is the second fight you've had coming off your major knee injury, so I have to ask, how is the knee and how does that feel coming into this weekend's fight in Houston?
My knee feels great, and it's not ever something that I worry about in the back of my mind. I'm not losing sleep over it, and to me, I think of in the sense of what knee injury. I did everything that the doctors required and asked of me, and it doesn't cause problems for me, or else I don't think that I would be accepting the fight or even have gotten in the fight that I did in April if it was an issue, So I don't ever think about it in the back of my mind or at the end of the day.
How is the weight cut feeling going into Friday?
Feels great. I'm on weight, Jim.
Looking over some of the other fights on this card for just a minute, Julianna, is there any other fights that kind of excited just from like a fan standpoint?
Oh, yes. I can't wait to see Daniel Cormier and Alexander Gustafsson go at it. I love the champ, and I think that he's a great person for the sport. And I also know that Alexander Gustafsson is a very highly decorated fighter as well. So I'm completely stoked to watch that main event fight.
Now, looking over your career, the majority of your wins have come early in fights, and looking at Jessica Ai, she's had a lot of fights go deep to the distance in most cases. Do you feel worried at all if this fight gets into the second and third round against her?
No, I'm not worried about anything in this fight at all. It's not something that I think about. Worried is not ever one of the words in my vocabulary when it comes to fighting Jessica Ai.
Now, looking at Jessica, she obviously is known for her stand-up and her boxing, her in-and-out movement. Is that kind of something you've maybe been working on in preparation for this fight, maybe standing up at any distance or time with her?
Yeah, I haven't ever been able to display my striking as much as she would because that's just not the way that I fight. I go in there looking for the finish. I don't go in there throwing, pink bunny punches and little short punches that aren't trying to hurt anybody. I go in there looking for the finish. So I've been preparing a lot for this fight, and I'd love to give you the game plan, but I don't think that's very smart. And so I know that she's a very respectful and skilled opponent, and she's going to be the toughest challenge that I've had before, but it's one that I embrace wholeheartedly, and I just can't wait to get in there and display 110% of my abilities on Saturday night.
If you're able to be victorious on Saturday night, what do you think this win will do for your career?
I think that if I'm already in conversations of a title shot, and I feel like it doesn't make any sense for me not to be getting a title shot here soon after. So, whatever they decide for me is going to be, what it is. But at the same time, I feel like I'm ready to be propelled into a title shot. But, I like to take things one day at a time, and I like to focus on what I know I can do. And right now I have Jessica Ai in front of me, so I try to just focus on just that.
Jim Graham and Billy Brandt talking with Julianna Pena. You can follow her on Twitter at Venezuela Vixen. And one thing I wanted to bring up, obviously you mentioned title shots. You have familiarity with a girl who's gotten a title shot, her being your coach on The Ultimate Fighter, that being Miesha Tate. Were you kind of surprised that Miesha did not get another title shot following her own win over Jessica Ai earlier this year?
Yeah, I think it's a little disappointing. Miesha has beaten everybody that they've put in front of her, and she has, definitely been finishing and doing what she needs to do in order to get back to that title shot. I don't like that they had promised her a title shot and then took it away from her. But it is what it is, and Dana White's my boss, and I love the man, and in my eyes, he can do no wrong. And so, I'm not going to go out on the limb and be like, oh, they shouldn't have done that. Obviously there's a rhyme for a reason, and, they did what they thought was best. And so who am I to say, what they were thinking and stuff like that. I don't know what their thought process was, and I don't know too much about the specifics of it. But, it is what it is, and Miesha's going to stay true to Miesha and do what she feels is right, and so is the UFC. So I respect both of their decisions, and I'm trying to be worried about me and myself and what I need to do in order to get up those rankings and to get that title shot myself. So I can only just talk about myself and what I feel I need to do.
Now, instead of Miesha Tate, the UFC went another direction and tabbed Holly Holm for the title shot against Ronda Rousey come November. I just wanted to get your thoughts as another fellow fighter in the division. What do you think about Holm's chances against Ronda Rousey?
I don't think about him at all. I don't care for it, and I don't care for either girl, So, may the best woman win, and I'll see them on the other side. So forget about it. I'm not. Who cares?
All right, another thing I wanted to ask you, your last fight in April, obviously, was before the UFC had the official deal with Reebok. This will be your first fight wearing the Reebok gear and the fight kick. Are you excited to wear the Reebok gear come Saturday?
Yes, I am stoked beyond belief. I love the Reebok gear. I love the fact that we're all finally a unified, company in the sense that, when you go look at NFL players and when you go look at, NBA players, everybody's wearing the same jersey and they're all under the same brand and the same company. I think it's great, and I think it's just that one step closer to making us the most popular sport in the world. I love it.
All right, Julianna, I'll get you out of here with this. Obviously, you're still very new into your UFC career, just your third fight in the organization, but obviously you look to be around for a long time. So if there's a place you would like to fight in your career, what would that place and destination be?
I would love to fight in Venezuela. I would also love to fight in Hawaii because I've never been to Hawaii. And I would love to fight in Spokane, Washington, above all.
She is the Venezuela Vixen, Julianna Pena. You can follow her on Twitter at Venezuela Vixen. And Julianna, thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to your fight come Saturday.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate that.
Once again, that was Julianna Pena right here on Beyond the Cage.